Robert sat in the leather chair across from his lawyer and watched the door. His hands were steady on the armrests, but his heart was not steady at all. 3 years of marriage, and it had come to this. A Tuesday afternoon in November, and papers that needed 2 signatures. He heard footsteps in the hallway outside. He knew those footsteps. Even after 6 months apart, he knew the sound of her walk. The door opened and there she was. Natasha. But something was different. Very different. She stood in the doorway wearing a soft blue dress that gathered at the waist with a thin belt. Except there was no waist anymore. There was a roundness there that made Robert's breath catch in his throat. She was pregnant. Very pregnant. He did the math quickly in his head. 7 months at least. Their lawyer, Mr. Harrison, stood up from behind his desk. He gestured to the empty chair beside Robert, but Natasha hesitated. Her dark eyes met Robert's for just a moment and then looked away. There was something in that glance. Something sad and tender and final. "Please sit down, Mr. Harrison said gently. "This won't take long." Natasha moved slowly across the room and lowered herself carefully into the chair. Robert could not stop looking at her. At the curve of her belly. At the way she placed one hand there protectively as she sat down. A gesture so natural and so full of love that it made his chest ache. "Are you comfortable, Mr. Harrison asked. "Can I get you some water?" "I'm fine," Natasha said quietly. "Let's just get this done." Robert found his voice finally. "Natasha," he said. Just her name. Nothing else. She turned to look at him and he saw tears standing in her eyes. "Please don't," she whispered. "This is hard enough." Mr. Harrison cleared his throat and opened the folder on his desk. "As you both know, we're here to finalize the dissolution of your marriage. The terms have been agreed upon. No children. No property disputes. A clean separation. No children." The words hung in the air like something heavy and wrong. Robert looked at Natasha's belly again. "When?" he asked. His voice came out rough. "Robert," Mr. Harrison said with a warning tone. "We're here for a specific purpose." "When?" Robert asked again. He was looking only at Natasha now. She closed her eyes. A single tear rolled down her cheek. 8 months ago, she said so softly he almost didn't hear. "Right before you moved out." 8 months ago. Robert remembered that time. The fights had been constant then. About his work. About her wanting to start a family and him saying no, not yet. About him being gone all the time. About her feeling alone even when he was home. He remembered the last night they spent together before he packed a bag and left for what he thought would be a few days to clear his head. That night had been different. Quiet and sad and tender. They had held each other like they were both drowning. And then he had left and the few days became a week, became a month, became 6 months. And she had never called. Never told him. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked. Natasha opened her eyes. "Because you made it very clear you didn't want this. You didn't want children. You didn't want the life I wanted. I wasn't going to trap you with obligation." "Trap me." Robert felt something breaking open inside his chest. "Natasha, this is my choice," she said firmly. "I'm keeping the baby. But I'm not asking anything from you. That's why I'm here. To sign these papers and let you go on with your life." Mr. Harrison looked uncomfortable. "Perhaps we should take a break," he suggested. "No," Natasha said. She reached for the pen on the desk. Her hand was shaking. "Where do I sign?" Robert watched her sign her name on the first page. Then the second. Her handwriting was still the same. Neat and careful. The same handwriting that used to leave him notes on the bathroom mirror. "Have a good day. I love you." The same handwriting on birthday cards and grocery lists and all the small tender pieces of a life lived together. Mr. Harrison slid the papers across the desk to Robert. "Your turn," he said. Robert picked up the pen. He looked at the signature line. He looked at Natasha sitting beside him with her hand on her belly and tears on her face. He thought about all the things that had led them here. The arguments, yes, but also the good things. The way she laughed. The way she made coffee in the morning humming to herself. The way she fit against him at night. The way she believed in goodness and kindness even when he was too tired and too cynical to see it. He thought about his own father. A man who had worked himself into an early grave and missed everything important. Robert had sworn he wouldn't be like that. But somewhere along the way he had become exactly that. Too busy. Too focused on building something that didn't matter. Missing the one thing that did. He put the pen down. "Robert." "Mr. Harrison said. "I can't." Robert said. "I can't sign these." Natasha turned to look at him. Her face was wet with tears. "Please don't make this harder," she said. "I've made peace with this. I'm okay. The baby will be okay. You can go." "I don't want to go," Robert said. He turned in his chair to face her fully. "Natasha, I was an idiot. I was scared. I thought I wasn't ready. I thought I needed to build the perfect life before I could be a father. But I had the perfect life. I had you. And I let fear and stupid pride ruin it." "You said you didn't want children," she said. "You said it over and over." "I was wrong," he said simply. "I was so wrong. And I know I don't deserve another chance. I know I hurt you. But if you'll let me, I want to be here. I want to be a father to this baby. I want to be your husband again. Not because I'm trapped. Not because I'm obligated. But because I love you." I never stopped. Natasha was crying harder now. "You left," she said. "You were gone for 6 months." "I know," Robert said. "And every day I wanted to call. Every day I wanted to come back. But I thought you were better off without me. I thought I would just disappoint you again. So I stayed away even though it was killing me." "Mr. Harrison," Natasha said without looking away from Robert. "What happens if we don't sign these papers?" The lawyer leaned back in his chair. "Then you're still married," he said. "Simple as that. And if we wanted to just tear them up?" she asked. "I would not advise that from a legal standpoint," Mr. Harrison said. "But technically yes. You could do that." Natasha looked at the papers on the desk. Then she looked at Robert. "I'm scared," she said. "I'm scared you'll change your mind again. I'm scared I'll be alone in this." Robert reached over and took her hand. It was the first time he had touched her in 6 months. Her skin was warm, familiar, home. "I won't change my mind," he said. "I promise you. I want this life with you. I want to be there when the baby comes. I want to be the kind of father and husband I should have been all along. Please, Natasha, please give me another chance." She squeezed his hand. More tears fell, but she was almost smiling now. "It's a boy," she said. "We're having a boy." Robert felt his own eyes fill with tears. "A boy," he repeated. "I found out last month," she said. "I've been going to all the appointments alone. Seeing him on the ultrasound alone. Feeling him kick alone. It's been so hard, Robert." "You won't be alone anymore," he said. "I swear it. I'm here. I'm all in." Mr. Harrison cleared his throat. "So what would you like me to do with these papers?" he asked. Robert and Natasha looked at each other. They were both crying now. Both smiling. Both holding on. "Tear them up," they said at the same time. Mr. Harrison actually smiled. In 30 years of divorce law, it was not something he got to do often. He took the papers and very deliberately tore them in half. Then in half again. The sound was satisfying. Final. The death of an ending that didn't need to happen. "Congratulations," he said. "You're still married." Robert helped Natasha stand up. She was laughing and crying at the same time. He put his arms around her, carefully mindful of her belly. Of their son growing safe inside her. "I'm sorry," he whispered into her hair. "I'm so sorry for everything." "I'm sorry too," she said. "I should have told you about the baby." "No," he said. "You were protecting yourself. I gave you every reason not to trust me." They stood there in the lawyer's office holding each other while Mr. Harrison politely looked at papers on his desk and pretended not to notice. Outside the window, the November sky was gray and cold, but inside something warm was being rebuilt. Something precious that had almost been lost. "Can we go home?" Natasha asked finally. "Yes," Robert said. "Let's go home." They walked out of the office together. Robert's hand was on the small of Natasha's back. Guiding her, supporting her, being there. In the elevator going down, she rested her head on his shoulder. "He kicks a lot at night," she said. "The baby. I think he's going to be a soccer player." "I want to feel," Robert said. She took his hand and placed it on her belly. They stood there in the elevator and waited. And then Robert felt it. A small push against his palm. His son. Moving and alive and real. "Hello," Robert whispered. Hello little one, I'm your dad, and I'm not going anywhere. The elevator doors opened and they walked out into the late afternoon. The street was busy with people heading home from work. Everyone rushing somewhere, everyone caught up in their own lives and worries and deadlines. But Robert and Natasha walked slowly. There was no rush now. They had time. They had each other. They had a second chance that most people never get. Are you hungry? Robert asked. Let me take you to dinner. I'm always hungry these days, Natasha said with a laugh. Your son eats constantly. Our son. Robert corrected gently. Our son. She agreed. They found a small restaurant on the corner. Nothing fancy. Just a quiet place with good food and soft lighting. They sat across from each other at a table by the window and talked. Really talked. About everything they had missed. About her pregnancy. About his regrets. About their hopes for the future. About the kind of parents they wanted to be. I want to be present, Robert said. I want to be there for bedtime stories and scraped knees and school plays and all of it. I want that too, Natasha said. But Robert, you have to mean it. I can't do this halfway. If you're in, then you're all the way in. I'm all the way in, he said. I promise you. She believed him. She could see it in his eyes. The fear was still there, but there was something else too. Determination, love, commitment, the things that mattered. When dinner was over, Robert drove them home. To the house they had bought together 3 years ago. The house he had left 6 months ago. The house that was about to become a home for 3 instead of 2. Natasha unlocked the door and they went inside. Everything was the same but different. There were baby things now. A crib in pieces waiting to be assembled in what used to be the guest room. Tiny clothes folded on the couch. Books about parenting stacked on the coffee table. I've been trying to get ready, Natasha said. But there's still so much to do. We'll do it together, Robert said. Starting tonight if you want. So they did. They spent the evening putting together the crib. Robert with the instructions and Natasha supervising from the rocking chair they had bought last week. They laughed when he put the side on backward. They debated where the changing table should go. They folded tiny onesies and wondered how a human being could possibly be that small. And slowly, piece by piece, they built not just a crib but a life. The life they should have been building all along. The life that kindness and love and second chances make possible. Late that night they lay in bed together for the first time in 6 months. Natasha's head was on Robert's chest. His hand was on her belly. The baby kicked once and then settled. Outside the window the November stars were bright and cold. Inside everything was warm. I love you, Robert said. I love you too, Natasha whispered. And somewhere in that quiet moment between words they both understood something important. Life doesn't always go the way you plan. People make mistakes. Fear can make you run from the very things you need most. But if you're lucky and brave and willing to try again, then love has a way of bringing you back home. Back to the person who matters. Back to the life that's waiting. Back to the second chance you almost didn't take.